DeGruchy runs to a neighbor's house yelling, "There's something wrong with Mom and Sarah." His mom, Jennifer, got the worst of it. Someone put a over her face, then her head with something heavy and hard. It was definitely Jennifer's body. 13-year-old Sarah was also in bed. Just like Mom, the evidence indicated a was held over her face while rained down. There was a Walkman found in bed next to her. Now, if she had headphones on listening to music, she wouldn't have heard what happened to her mother in the next room. Adrian, 15, was fixing a chair in the garage when he was surprised with a heavy to the back of his. He was times sending sprays of to the ceiling and scattering his all over the floor. Now, what kind of a person could do something so heinous, and why? The only two surviving family members, Matthew and his father Wayne, were immediate suspects, but they both seemed to have ironclad alibis. Matthew spent the night at his girlfriend Alyssa's house. Wayne was an hour and a half away in Sydney. Neither of them seemed to have any reason to turn on their own flesh and blood. The DeGruchy's were a nice family, not the type to be on police radar for domestic violence or teenage rebellions. They were just your typical suburban family of 5. There didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to the madness. None of the victims were and nothing was taken from the house. Well, nothing valuable anyway. A few things were gone, but that's what made the case even stranger. Someone cut out 3 pieces of carpet from the bedroom, a big one near the bed where Jennifer's body was found, and another small piece near the door. What do you make of that? If it was a robbery gone bad, the thieves either had a carpet or they weren't even trying. They took a few calculators and video games from the kids' rooms, but nothing else like the stereo, jewelry, and cash was touched. This robbery was staged. As police searched for answers, they uncovered more clues. Someone cleaned off the tile floor in the hallway. Swabs were taken from the faint traces of left behind, and fingerprints were found on the open gas can near Adrian's body. DNA and fingerprints matched one person and one person only, 18-year-old Matthew DeGruchy. Could there be an innocent explanation? At 8 p.m., Matthew's girlfriend Alyssa called the DeGruchy's. Matthew sounded like he always did. He told her he'd come over soon. At 10 p.m., Alyssa called Matthew back. He hadn't shown up at her house yet, but no one answered the phone at the DeGruchy's. At 11 p.m., Matthew arrived at Alyssa's. He wasn't wounded, not that she noticed anyway. He certainly didn't look like a person who just 3 family members. Alyssa told police Matthew had an excuse for being late. They couldn't believe their ears when she told them what Matthew said. Jennifer was afraid to be left alone. She had gotten some crank calls threatening her and the kids. When Matthew got home the next morning, his mother, brother, and sister were dead. Why didn't Matthew tell police about the threatening calls when he was questioned? 4 days after his family was police brought the teenager back in for questioning, but they already had most of the answers. It all came back to the family car. Matthew didn't have a car of his own, so he borrowed his mother's. A lot. They fought a lot about the number of miles he was putting on it, and in the end, his parents told him he couldn't drive her car anymore. He had to use his dad's instead. But on March 12, 1996, Matthew's dad was in Sydney for the night with the car, and if he wanted to see Alyssa, he needed his mom's car. He took it by force. Remember the cut-up carpet in his mother's room? Fibers from the bedroom carpet were found in her car. Matthew's was on it. Your mother, your sister, and your brother just so you can use the family car? That's a crazy motive. 2 months later, police got the final clue they needed to solve the case. A duffel bag, the DeGruchy's VCR, and Jennifer's purse with her ID were in the water around an old dam near Alyssa's house. Inside the duffel were the missing pieces from the DeGruchy carpet and a handwritten note that was torn up and sealed in a plastic bag with some band-aids. Chillingly, it appeared to be a terrifying to-do list with items like arm with pole, cut somewhere with, and the names Adrian, Mom, and Sarah. Matthew wrote it. Only he knows why he saved it. In the fall of 1998, a jury sent Matthew to prison. He was released in 2021. Today, he lives with his father in Australia.